Let's not pretend. Let's not begin with false comforts. Why are you here? You're here because of the echo, the one that reverberates in the quiet moments after a failure. Why does this taste so familiar, you ask yourself? Why does this new relationship feel like the same old ghost story, just with a different mask? Why does the summit of every mountain you climb reveal the same barren landscape of disappointment you thought you'd left behind? You feel it. You know it. You've lived it. You run in circles. Perfect, agonizing circles. You sabotage the job you love. You push away the person who sees you. You retreat into the familiar comfort of a pain you understand. It's a pattern. A rhythm of self-destruction that beats like a second, broken heart inside your chest, and you have come to believe this rhythm is you. That this brokenness is your nature. This is not a personal failure. It is a silent epidemic. It is a haunting. And the haunting is fed by a single foundational lie. A lie so pervasive, so deeply embedded in your psyche, you mistake it for the truth. The lie is this: you are your story. You are the sum of your wounds. The betrayal you suffered at 17, the business that failed at 30, the love that turned to ash in your mouth. You believe these events are not just part of your history. You believe they are your identity, that your character was forged permanently in those fires, and your future is just the smoke rising from their embers. This lie is a prison disguised as a memorial. It's a cage of invisible bars, polished with the virtue of survival. But there was a man, a surgeon of the soul, who saw these bars. He didn't offer a key. He offered a hammer. His name was Carl Jung. Not a dusty academic, but a psychological warrior who descended into the abyss of the human mind and returned with a map. He diagnosed the ghost. He understood the haunting. He knew that what we refuse to face, we are destined to repeat. So let me be clear about what this is. This is not a gentle talk. This is not here to soothe you. This is an intervention, an exorcism. We are here to shatter the beautiful, tragic story you have built around your pain. We are here to deconstruct the lie, piece by painful piece. The purpose is not to make you feel better. The purpose is to make you free. The stakes are absolute. Continue to live as a ghost in the ruins of your own past, or awaken to the brutal, magnificent truth of your own power. How does the lie work? How does it sink its hooks so deep? It operates through a mechanism Jung called the shadow. The shadow is everything you have repressed, everything you have disowned. Your anger, your shame, your secret desires, your untended grief. You, in your attempt to be good, to be acceptable, have cut away these pieces of yourself and cast them into the darkness of your unconscious. But nothing truly dies there. Nothing is ever lost. These disowned pieces do not vanish. They gain their own life. They fester, they consolidate, and they project themselves outward. Jung's most terrifying and liberating truth was this: what is not made conscious will be experienced as fate. Read that again. Your fate is not written in the stars. It is written in the darkness you refuse to confront within yourself. That tyrannical boss is the unresolved rage you have towards a parent. That untrustworthy partner is your own self-betrayal staring back at you. Your life becomes a puppet show, and your shadow is the one pulling the strings. You are not in control. You are reacting to the ghosts of your own buried self. You are doomed to meet yourself over and over again in the form of other people and other situations until you finally have the courage to turn inward and face the source. The lie tells you the problem is out there. Jung tells you the drama you see in the world is a mirror of the war inside your soul, in time fast. This is the source of the haunting. This is why you are a ghost. Imagine it. You are chained to the cold, charred ruins of a house that burned down long ago. This house is your past. The fire was your trauma, your failure, your great regret. The foundation is cracked. The timbers are black and brittle. The air is thick with the smell of soot and sorrow. And you, a spectral figure, haunt these grounds. You trace the outlines of where the walls used to be. You sit by the cold, dead hearth where a fire once warmed you. You are the curator of your own museum of pain. You polish the chains that bind you to this place, mistaking their weight for substance, their cold iron for security. You tell visitors, the new people in your life, the story of the great fire. You show them the scorch marks on the floor. You speak with a strange, tragic pride about how nothing can ever be rebuilt here. This ruin, you have decided, is your sacred ground. And protecting it has become your life's work. Why do you do this? Why cling to the wreckage? Because the lie whispers that this ruin is all you are. That without this tragic story, you are nothing. The known pain of the ruin feels safer than the terrifying, unknown wilderness that lies just beyond the collapsed fence. To leave the ruin would be to let the story die. And if the story dies, who would you be? The question is so terrifying, you pull the chains tighter and call it home. What is the cost of living in these ruins? It is the slow strangulation of your soul. It is the quiet desperation that hums beneath every forced smile. It is the hollow feeling in your chest when you see others build new homes, homes filled with light and warmth. You feel a flicker of joy, but it's distant, like watching a film of someone else's life. Your own emotions are muted, filtered through the grey ash of your past. The cost is the bitterness that seeps into your heart, a slow poison. You become resentful of those who are not haunted. You grow cynical. Love feels like a risk of another fire. Success feels like a temporary distraction from the rubble. You are alive, but you are not living. You are a ghost, endlessly replaying the moment of the fire, because you believe the fire was the end of you, when in fact, it was just the end of a house. And here is the painful truth. The lie persists because it is useful, not for you, but for the systems of control that thrive on your predictability. A person defined by their past is a person who can be managed. A person who believes their wounds are their identity is a perfect consumer of endless, shallow remedies. They can sell you distractions. They can sell you validation. They can sell you new ways to decorate your prison cell. A sovereign individual, one who is not a slave to their history, is unpredictable. They are ungovernable. They cannot be easily sold a narrative because they are busy writing their own. The lie that you are your story keeps you small. It keeps you wounded. It keeps you circling the same drain of predictable despair. And in that state, you are no threat to anyone. You are a ghost, and ghosts, for all their rattling, have no real power to change the world. So what is the antidote? What is the hammer Jung provides to shatter these chains? It is not a 5-step plan. It is not a positive affirmation. It is a descent, a journey, the process of individuation. It is the lifelong, courageous task of becoming whole by integrating the fragments you have cast into darkness. It begins with the radical act of turning to face your own shadow. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The work is not to run from the ghost in the ruins. The work is to walk calmly into the center of the wreckage, sit down in the ashes and speak to it, to ask it, what are you? What pain do you carry? What part of me did I abandon in this fire? It is an act of profound self-compassion disguised as terror. This is the path of resistance, a rebellion against your own self-imposed tyranny. It is the rejection of the simple, tragic story. It requires a level of honesty that will feel like peeling off your own skin. It means looking at your patterns, your self-sabotage, and instead of blaming the world, asking, what part of me is engineering this? What unhealed wound is this pattern trying to show me? You must own your darkness to reclaim your light. You must admit to your own capacity for cruelty, for envy, for destruction, not to act on it, but to understand it, to integrate it. The person who knows the monster within themselves is the least likely to be devoured by it or to project it onto others. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming whole. The saint who has never faced his own inner demon is more dangerous than the sinner who has come to understand his. This process has a name in the old traditions. It is alchemy, not turning lead into gold, but turning the raw, wounded matter of the psyche into a whole and sovereign self. Heavy, dull, defined by its past state. The work of liberation is an alchemical process, and it begins with a stage called solutio. Solutio is dissolution. It is the great dissolving. It means you must willingly step into the fire. You must let the waters of chaos wash over you. You must allow the rigid, fixed identity of the ghost, the story of the ruin, to be completely and utterly dissolved. This is the moment you stop protecting the wreckage. You stop polishing the chains. You let the story fall apart. It feels like death because it is. It is the death of the lie. In this state of solutio, you are formless. You are no longer your story. You are pure potential. It is terrifying. There are no landmarks here, no familiar pains to cling to. It is the wilderness you feared from within your ruin, but it is also the place of absolute freedom. You have let go of who you thought you were in order to discover who you might become. From this primordial soup of dissolved identity comes the second stage, coagulatio. Coagulation, rebuilding. But this time, it is not an accident. It is a conscious act of creation. You sift through the ashes of the old house and mama. You look at the raw material of your life, the trauma, the joy, the failure, the love. But now, it is just material. It is no longer your identity. It has been purified in the fire of awareness. You become the alchemist of your own soul. You consciously choose which pieces to rebuild. You take the strength learned from the fire, but you leave the story of victimhood in the ash. You take the wisdom gained from the betrayal, but you refuse to let it curdle into bitterness. You build a new structure, not a fortress against the world, but a home for your whole self, a place where your light and your shadow can coexist. This is the path, from ghost to alchemist, from a haunted ruin to a consecrated temple, from being a prisoner of your history to being the creator of your destiny. But do not be mistaken. This path is not easy. It comes with a price. Freedom always does. The price of this freedom is profound loneliness at first. When you stop playing the ghost, the people who only knew you through your tragic story will not understand. They may even resent you. Your healing will feel like a betrayal of the shared misery that connected you. You must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to walk alone. The price is the loss of your excuses. You can no longer blame your past for your present inaction. You can no longer use your wounds as a shield. The alchemist takes radical responsibility. The ghost blames fate. When you choose alchemy, you are choosing a harder, more accountable life. The comfort of being a victim is a potent drug, and the withdrawal is severe. The price is confronting the ugliest truths about yourself. To see your own shadow is to see your capacity for everything you judge in others. It is a humbling, gut-wrenching process. It requires a courage that few are willing to muster. It is far easier to remain a ghost in a ruin, pointing fingers at a world that burned your house down, than it is to admit you handed someone the torch, or that you yourself are capable of arson. And so, we arrive at the point of no return, the end of the story and the beginning of the work. You have seen the prison it creates. You have seen the terrible, beautiful path to freedom. There are no more excuses. There is no more hiding. There is only a choice that will define every moment of the rest of your life. The choice is this: to remain a prisoner of your own history, or to become the alchemist of your own soul. Do you continue to haunt the cold ruins, chained to a story that is already over, endlessly whispering of the flames that consumed you? Do you cling to the identity of the survivor, the victim, the one who was wronged? Do you choose the familiar, comfortable weight of your own tragedy? Or do you choose the fire? Do you walk into the center of the ruin, not as a ghost, but as a builder? Do you pick up the hammer? Do you willingly dissolve the old story in the crucible of awareness and forge something new, something whole, something true? Do you accept the terrifying, magnificent responsibility of creating your own meaning from the raw material of your life? There is no middle ground. You are on one path or the other, right now, in this moment. Every thought you have, every action you take, is a vote for one of two futures. The future of the ghost or the future of the alchemist? One is a slow, circular death. The other is a difficult, painful, glorious birth. Imagine the person you become when you choose alchemy. This person is not perfect. They are not free from pain, but they are whole. Their scars are not shameful secrets, but integrated lines in a map of a life fully lived. They feel anger, but are not consumed by it. They feel fear, but are not paralyzed by it. They know their darkness intimately, and so they walk in the light with an unshakable integrity. This person is sovereign. Their center of gravity is not in the approval of others, not in the validation of society, not in the story of their past. Their center of gravity is within themselves. They do not need to be right, they need to be true. They do not seek power over others, they have cultivated power over themselves. They have stopped being a reaction to life and have become a conscious creation. This is the promise, not of an easy life, but of a real one, not of happiness, but of meaning. The ghost seeks comfort, the alchemist seeks truth. And now you must choose. Now you must choose. Your life is speaking to you through its repeating patterns of pain. It is asking you, begging you, to stop telling the old story. It is inviting you to pick up a new tool. So the choice is yours, and it is made now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, because you will never feel ready. The decision to be free is an act of war against your own inertia. It is made in a moment of defiant clarity. It must be declared. It must be solidified. Not for me, not for an audience, but for you, a vow made to the deepest part of your own being. I challenge you to make that vow now, to perform a small ritual of commitment, a digital line in the sand, a signal to yourself and to the universe that you have chosen a new path. Go to the comments and write this declaration. 5 words that will change the energetic contract you have with your own past. 5 words to begin the alchemical process. Write this: I am the alchemist, not the ghost. Say it out loud as you type it. Feel the shift. Feel the claim you are making. You are no longer the haunted. You are the one who walks into the haunted house and turns on the lights. You are no longer defined by the fire. You are the one who now works the forge. Do it now. Let this be understood. This declaration is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the lighting of the first fire. It is the moment the alchemist picks up their tools. The real work, the messy, difficult, transformative work starts now. Making the vow is easy. Living it is the great challenge of your life. And the next step on this path is non-negotiable. Now that you have chosen the forge over the ruin, you must learn how to gather your materials. You must learn how to sift through the ashes of your past without becoming a ghost again. This next part of the journey is the most critical. It is where most people fail. They light the fire and then they walk away and the flames die out. We will not let that happen. The next conversation we have will be the practical guide to this sifting. It will be the map for the first stage of your alchemy. Do not miss it. Your new life depends on the continuity of this work. You have made the choice. Now, prepare to build. The age of the ghost is over.